Barry Weiss to lead CBS News. Jesus Christ. Editor-in-chief. Nice. It's so over. Oh my God. In a remarkable reshuffle of CBS's decades-old management structure, Weiss will report directly to Paramount Skydance CEO David Ellison. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. John Oliver's cooked lol. I can't believe how much the Zionists control our government, man. It's insane. Like a significant majority of Americans are like, hey, it's actually kind of weird that they're committing an obvious genocide, and also that we keep funding them doing it, and we have to keep lying to defend them doing it. United States of Israel, yeah. Reporting directly to Ellison. This is insane, by the way. Like, this is the most direct, like, we are just assuming direct control of the news organization. Nothing else will stop us. The evil David Ellison having, like, skipping like 5 chains of command here so Barry Weiss can directly report to him. It's insane. Vaush, you're getting a little too close to saying Zog. No, f you. Your disingenuous bullshit, okay? The fact that overwhelmingly people in power financially and politically are Zionists is not a conspiracy theory, it's obvious fact. Your disingenuous conflation of Zionist and Jewish is anti-Semitic, 1, and 2, bad faith. What are you trying to do here? What are you making their point for them? You don't think it's a little bit weird? You're the one deliberately muddying the waters here. There has never been any ambiguity at all in what I am saying when I talk about Zionism, its influence on the country, what it means politically, and its relationship to Judaism. I've been extremely clear. Murking about, oh, so to be clear, everyone, he means Zionists, not Jews. No shit. Why would you imply otherwise? Paramount Skydance is expected to acquire the Free Press in a deal valued around $150 million. Stock and cash, Free Press. Weiss is likely to take a major role steering the editorial coverage of the network. It's unclear whether Weiss, who has a podcast and a column in the Free Press, will take an additional journalistic presence at CBS News. A Paramount Skydance spokesperson did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Others expect the new leadership program or leadership structure to create a strain on the already dug-in culture at CBS for programs like 60 Minutes. They're all going to have to do loyalty oaths to Israel. Jesus Christ. Is there, by the way, is there like any reason at all for the Barry Weiss pick other than she's a hardcore far-right loyalist who will do anything that we say? She's like a disgusting little like a hit woman who like, does she have any credentials whatsoever that would legitimize her running a news network? As previously reported by the Post, Ellison first approached Weiss about taking a top role at 60 Minutes. Jesus Christ. So he just wanted her. He just wanted a inside agent. I wonder how much of this was done to capitulate to the Trump administration. Sad to see one of the big 3 news outlets go out like this. I mean, what do you expect when CBS is owned by Oracle indirectly, you know? The financialization of everything. All news is going to end up being owned by like 2 companies. And they'll agree with each other. While we're on the subject of Zionist organizations, I suppose, the ADL capitulated so much to the Trump administration, and it's given them absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just what 2-3 days ago, the ADL deleted a archive of like right-wing extremism that implicated Charlie Kirk at the behest of conservatives. And what do they get in return? Like, can you? It's insane because again, like the ADL primarily exists to launder the reputation Israel. I mean, it's like the Saudi Arabia, you know, Gulf state comedian thing, right? Like you just spend your money and influence to get people to like you, even though you're unlikable. And even that isn't enough. Why does everyone keep capitulating? Well, in truth, the ADL only cares about pro-Israeli support, you know? So it doesn't, they don't have any other principles. But I guess they're an extremist group now. Kash Patel pulls the plug on ADL's FBI training on extremism. Oh, if you didn't know, and they've talked about it publicly, by the way, you know the ADL trains FBI agents? It's like how American police departments occasionally do like security training with Israel. Yeah, like the IDF training cops. I did not know that. Well, they don't do it anymore. He singled out past speeches by Comey that the former director said amounted to love letters to the ADL, which has provided hundreds of tips about extremist activity per year to law enforcement agencies throughout the country. Well, they're supposed to train FBI agents how to identify Nazis, but you know, don't be naive. The ADL does not partner with the FBI because the FBI was super interested in working with a humanitarian nonprofit that focuses on anti-bigotry, okay? It's because the ADL is and always has been a Zionist organization. It's just another legitimization tactic. If anything, this has made the FBI less far right. The organization conducts workshops for law enforcement agencies on hate crimes, violent extremism, and anti-Semitism. This kind of gives the game away right there, doesn't it? Like, if the ADL is being framed as a just general anti-hate organization, why would you have to specifically name anti-Semitism as one of the many kinds of bigotry? Like, why not also anti-black discrimination or colorism or fat phobia or misogyny or whatever? Obviously, like, there's a reason it's singled out. The Law Enforcement and Societies Workshop is mandatory for new agents and trainees at the agency's Quantico base, Comey said in a 2014 speech. If this sounds a bit like a love letter to the ADL, it is, and rightfully so, said Comey. Trump allies have increased their attacks on the ADL in recent weeks, pointing to the killing of Charlie Kirk. A summary of Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, on the group's website earlier this year accused Kirk of promoting Christian nationalism and detailed the group's ties to the far right. The page has since been removed from the ADL's website. Are you considering that Politico is owned by German right-wing Springer SE? Every news agency in America is owned by a neo-Nazi. What do you want? We just talked about CBS being put under the control of Barry Weiss, who is themselves under the control of Oracle's CEO's son, David, was it Ellis? Why am I blanking on that? David Duke, yeah, David Duke. Jesus, man. The FBI works with the ADL to host civil rights and hate crime training for our state and local counterparts through a variety of programs. And the ADL, of course, has even greater reach. You trained more than 12,000 law enforcement personnel last year alone, and I want to thank you for that. 105 training sessions sponsored by the ADL on extremism, terrorism, and hate crimes in 17 states and here in the district. What's the name of the CEO of the ADL? He's been like fighting uphill for a while to try to convince the right to not completely abandon Israel, you know? He's been talking to some pretty far-right people, hasn't he? Greenblatt? Yeah. Looks like Stephen Miller. No, Cosplex. I don't know what that is. Greenblatt was named CEO of the ADL in 2014. Under his leadership, the organization placed less emphasis on civil liberties and more on advocacy for Israel and the interests of donors. Greenblatt's tenure has seen increased partnership with the law enforcement agencies and support for anti-BDS legislation such as the Israel Anti-Boycott Act. This is the act that makes it illegal to boycott Israel, by the way. His support for the DOE Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights Marcus and President Trump's executive order on combating anti-Semitism drew criticism from employees of the ADL's own Civil Rights Division. He said in a 2022 speech, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. British Finance Minister says she's an eternal friend of Israel after the Labour Party, as an organization, recognize what's happening in Gaza as a genocide going against party leadership. So weird. So weird, man. The ADL told The Intercept that it did not consider the Gaza war protests anti-Semitic, but Greenblatt labeled the protesting groups as hate groups. Interesting. Greenblatt accused groups including Jewish Voice for Peace and Students for Justice in Palestine of being, quote, Iranian proxies, and compared the Palestinian keffiyeh to the swastika. These statements by Greenblatt were cited by editors of the online encyclopedia Wikipedia to support downgrading the ADL to a generally unreliable source on the subject of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Greenblatt praised Musk as an amazing entrepreneur and the Henry Ford of our time. I appreciate this is such an insane thing for the head of the ADL to say that even Wikipedia follows this up with, car manufacturer Henry Ford was one of the most prominent anti-Semites in the history of the United States. Greenblatt himself had previously criticized Trump for praising Ford. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm mostly just reading this to remind myself of how bad the ADL is. Genuinely, the FBI cutting ties with the ADL is a good thing. Like, if you want the FBI to remain wary of far-right extremist groups, they were by cutting ties with the ADL. These people are insane. Defended Musk after the Hitler salute. Greenblatt has expressed support for activist deportations in the second Trump presidency. He said the real deal threat to American Jews came from this convergence of what I call the radical left and like Islamist groups here in the United States, compared pro-Palestinian student protesters to ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and said regarding Mahmoud Khalil, I am sure we're going to find out about his ties to groups overseas. Oh yeah, and he worked for the Obama administration beforehand. Almost certainly for the same goddamn reason. I sincerely doubt he was named CEO of the Anti-Defamation League for no particular reason. A ton of people worked in the Obama administration who ended up being like lunatic Zionists, and it just didn't become as like relevant or publicly known until later.